Hey, welcome back to Practically Pastoring. As you can tell, we are not on Zoom right now.
What?
But we are here, and just so obviously Delmar's not here, but I'm Frank Gill.
I'm Jeff Simpson.
I'm Andrew Larson.
And I'm Timothy Miller.
And this is
Don't we do that at the end? Why are we doing that now?
I think we do it, but we do them both.
Oh, I think I introduced you guys.
So
Normally he does the intro.
It's been like a month.
It's been a long time since we've recorded one of these things.
Yeah, so we're here. We're all in Florida. We are in. Is it pronounced Tavares?
Tavares.
Tavares.
It's
Tavers.
We're not too far from what's that senior citizen place where they just
The Village?
The
The
villages
Villages.
where they all just other and stuff. It's
We
pretty
don't
crazy.
need to say that.
I'm just saying.
Is that today's clergy cliff notes?
That's
We did not say we were going to be discussing that
the
this
curriculum. The
morning.
curriculum that one guy got was from the villages. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, we are glad we're here. We're gonna edit that out. And hey, we are in the Sunday Cool headquarters. all right?
Headquarters,
This
HQ.
Yeah, this is it.
And it's surprising because after what these guys said about their book, I'm surprised they even allowed us in here.
Listen,
This
it's
is
serving
incredible.
its purpose. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
Look at that.
He's using it as a coaster.
Would you look at that?
And their next
It's
sponsor is
intended-
Lifeway. They're really glad.
The
No,
intended purpose.
So no,
Wow.
we are here. We're hanging out with friends. We might bring on some guests a little later. Delmar, we miss you. We're glad you were able to join our Facebook Live. We wish you were here, but I'm sure you're like drinking sweet tea or something, whatever people do in South Carolina. I don't know.
Sure.
But hey, I preached last Sunday. We all preached last Sunday, right?
Good for you.
We're so proud of you, Frank. He did it 7 times a year.
That's what pastors do. So yeah, I
That's.
did.
Campus pastors preach like 8 times a year. It's a good time.
Do you feel like it has to be really good every time that you preach?
I'm aiming for the fences.
Like
every time.
walk-off grand slam.
Like
Yeah.
I know we talk about it as like just hit a single. Yeah, that's great when you do it every single Sunday.
Yeah.
But like when I preach, I'm aiming for the fences. But
But then you can swing and miss.
Yeah, you could.
Baseball analogies.
Delmar's not
you
here. We can
gotta
talk
try
sports.
easier, buddy.
don't worry, we can talk sports. I know. I mean, it was a good Sunday. It was a good sermon. What was also great is I talked about like. a lot
Well, you
of
think it
heavy
was a
stuff.
good sermon.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, we talked a lot about.
Frank got saved twice.
I said twice. I came forward. I preached about.
As I am.
Stop.
I preached about. I don't know. This is one channel. This might sound terrible.
This is going to be awful.
This is what Tim and I do every single Monday, and it always sounds terrible. So it's fine.
I preached on the Samaritan woman, and so we talked about like
John 4, I've read
biblical
it.
sexual ethics and stuff like that. And I know for a fact we like a lot of people like we talked about cohabitation and porn and adultery, and I didn't stay after service.
Did you have a fill in the blank with a lot of terms?
No, I didn't have that. I got on a plane like right after service, so I don't know how the fallout was, but it was a good time.
It's very campus pastory of you.
It is very campus pastory. All right, so now we got this intro out the way. I want to dive into some clergy cliff notes. Obviously, it feels like we really want to talk about this youth group that
I think you really want to talk
talked to
about
us.
You can't stop talking about it,
it. Way
Frank.
here.
It's really funny.
You learned so much. Like you were filling in the blanks while he was talking.
That's
Yeah,
too far.
Tonight's going to be awesome.
Too far.
This is why this podcast is on Zoom. When we're together.
Tim and I usually mute it and have these conversations that you
Sorry.
guys can't hear.
But
Yes.
we might bring it up another day. What I want to talk about is this: I think it was last week or the week before. Michael Todd, who's like a really popular pastor at a church called Transformation Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Incredible communicator.
Oh, and I've said this on the podcast. I love him. I think like, he's one of the best communicators like right now.
Yeah.
Can we also, I mean, the video you're going to reference, can we talk about the set?
Oh,
Good grief.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's
And they-
ridiculous.
Next level.
They actually don't do that in the sanctuary. They actually built that set in their lobby, which their lobby it was
Because of COVID?
because of COVID.
Like
So
we're
it's
gonna-
so they built up a set in their lobby, and they only have like maybe 20, 30 people in there just for the Sunday service because it's all streamed. But yeah, an incredible set. They're in a
Amazing.
series about the Holy Spirit, and like I've said this before, like I love Michael Todd. I think he's a great communicator. But this clip he posted. He's super passionate, super excited. He's like, I have an illustration for you guys. And he tries to explain the Trinity as water, ice, and okay, this is actually kind of funny. I think he wanted to do water, ice, and vapor or steam, but he actually uses dry ice,
Yeah.
which is not H2O.
It's not.
But you can't like have hot plate boiling water like while you're preaching.
It's like a tea kettle. Just
It fit the illustration.
But yeah, so he poured the water on the dry ice.
Right.
Like,
It fit the bad illustration.
The bad
Yeah,
illustration.
it fit the bad illustration. And so I watched it, and my mind immediately went to that old YouTube video from Lutheran Satire, which is bad Trinity analogies with St. Patrick.
But every Trinity analogy is a bad Trinity analogy.
Right.
There's no good Trinity analogy.
And so he's excited, and he's like, what's water? He's like, it's H2O. It's like, what's ice? H2O. What is ultimately steam? H2O. And he's like, you see it? Like one God, and he said the word 3 different manifestations, which is a little also a word I don't like to say when describing the Trinity.
Right.
And so I'm reading the comments, and there's like 400 comments like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I
finally
understand.
understand.
I just
then-
looked at the monitor and saw Tim's vest again. Like I realized
Like we haven't even referenced it. We're just going right
That's
into
a
it.
manifestation.
We're-
Right into modalism, and you
But I look
cut to
over
vest.
there and Tim is
That's really funny.
yeah.
But
Good look.
I comment on there, that's modalism, Patrick, which is from that Lutheran Satire video. And I got a bunch of likes from people who actually get the joke, and I realized a lot of people didn't know what modalism was. And like people were like saying in my comment, like, I Googled modalism, I didn't know what it was, and modalism is the heresy that we don't have a Trinity, that God has kind of revealed himself, like almost like having different masks at different times. Like
Right.
Old Testament was the Father, in the New Testament we have Jesus, and then after Pentecost we have the Holy Spirit. And I just said that's modalism. And so I guess let me just clear the stage. I don't think Michael Todd's a modalist. I actually think he believes in the Trinity, because if you watch other stuff he has.
But he might be a modalist.
What do you,
he's definitely espousing modalist
Is that
theology
like
right
Jeff
now.
Foxworthy? You might be a modalist.
Yes.
Might be a modalist
That would be
you've ever
the-
used any illustration to try to explain
the
the
world's
Trinity.
worst stand-up routine.
I actually don't think he's a modalist, because he has other clips that talk about how there's 3 persons in one God, and so I don't think he's a modalist. I just think he used a very bad illustration, and I think this ultimately serves as an issue why. I mean, you learn this in Bible college. No illustration is going to be good.
You know what though? He was trying to hit a home run with that. That was a swing and a miss.
He was swinging for the
That was a swing and a
fences.
miss, buddy.
So
That's what. So you shouldn't judge a pastor by the 1 4-minute sermon clip,
Right.
Either.
Like when Andy Stanley says he doesn't like the Bible. Like we take that clip and then we just explode that one.
yeah.
I don't think he ever said. I don't
But
like the
also,
Bible.
you got to be
I
careful.
mean, he
about
doesn't
which
use the Bible.
clips you
It was something like
post.
that.
Yeah.
You got to be careful about which clips you yourself are posting.
Exactly.
Well,
That's-
and so that's ultimately my question, because I think Michael Todd's a good guy. I don't think he's a heretic. I think that clip was heretical.
Right.
But I think that was a mistake, right? I
Yeah.
think it was just a swing and a miss. So my question is this:
But it's somewhere between like an off the cuff mistake statement. He prepared that. I mean, he had dry
Oh,
ice up there.
I mean, it was-
like, so he thought about that for a long time.
It
and
was
said
not off
and
the cuff.
It's wrong. It's not an off the
Yeah.
cuff mistake. It's a well thought out or poorly thought out.
Like his preaching
mistake.
team, like they didn't say, "Hey, this could go wrong. This really
Well,
looks
again,
like."
that's the question.
Yeah.
Does he have like that kind of accountability where, was there anybody that could have been a layer, a filter there to say, hey, this is actually going to come off as modalism. You shouldn't do that.
Well, and
right?
I don't know what his training was, but you might be able to make a case for some formalized theological training too, because you would run into that.
That-
You know, at a Bible college or a seminary, you're going to have to talk about modalism at some
Right.
point.
So I guess a question, because like I said, I don't think he's a heretic. I think he just had a bad illustration. My question to you guys is this: in the world where now literally every pastor, every church is streaming their services, and some pastors and some churches are taking that a step further and are doing the smart thing of clipping their services to create more content in their church.
That's a smart thing.
I think it's a
Some
smart thing.
pastors are doing the thing that Frank does once every 8 weeks when he
Frank
We know
does
what he
it 8
preaches.
times a year, and then he posts himself preaching.
and he posts 1 minute per week until his next sermon, so that there's. So it looks like he's preaching
I got
every week.
33
Oh
weeks
my
of content, guys. This is great. Listen, here's my point. In a world where we're now streaming everything, it's not just audio, but we have video clips of stuff. Like, these are kind of some of the risks that you can have. I guess my question to you guys is like, when you are streaming your services or recording your services and putting it online, like, do you think about like this might be an in-house conversation or a small part of a larger picture that can be taken out of context. Does that cause you fear or trepidation when it comes to putting out content online when it comes to your Sunday services?
It's one of the reasons I don't clip my sermons. Like, I am terrified of a 1-minute clip being taken out of context and then it going viral for all the wrong reasons. So as much as I would love to,
I joke every
scares
time
me.
I say something off the cuff in announcements that I'm like, oh crap, I shouldn't have said. I was trying to be funny. That was stupid. And then I'm like, if this is what blows up, boy, that's going to be a problem. Yeah. So then I go and try to edit the stuff after the fact. But yeah, it's the world that we live. It's the importance of the local church. Right. If your church is a family, it's the the pastor under the authority of the elders, under the authority of the Holy Spirit, into the one body. Something like that is going to get nipped real quick. But if you're putting it out there to 330 million Americans, then once the cat is out of the bag, it's out of the bag.
Yeah.
I think it's an opportunity to kind of flip the whole thing on its head. And if you're going to put stuff out there, you should know ahead of time, maybe somebody will take this the wrong way, or maybe I'm going to say something wrong. And it's an opportunity to display a kind of humility where you're able to admit,
sure.
You know what, I do need to study that more, and I wish, because I think, let's say in this situation, somebody calls modalism out, and you see him repent in the next clip and say, I didn't even realize that was a thing, and now I realize that's wrong. So all of you who liked the last video I made, I really want to show you what it really is now. And there's actually an opportunity there.
That's huge.
On the same platform to actually display humility. For us, I try to be really careful, especially off the cuff stuff and announcements. But we actually, I've talked about this before, we actually take communion every week, and we do that after the end of the service, and we shut off the live stream, and that's the point at which I might say in-house stuff or pray for things that are, close to the family.
Things that you don't want broadcast.
Yeah, things that don't need to be broadcast. It's also made an opportunity for us to talk about mission stuff that might be sensitive. We have this built-in time now. It's I end the sermon, I give the benediction, and I say, if you want to participate in communion, we're going to stick around. Those of you joining us online, thanks for being online with us, but we'll see you next week. And then, we take a minute break and people come back in the room and we take communion and do that stuff together. So
I want to say in his defense, I'm guessing that he has a creative team at the church, and someone was like, ooh, so it wasn't, so it's not a seminary grad that's this is a good clip that represents what our church is. No, it's the tech intern that was that was dope. We got to get that out there to the world.
So maybe that's a feedback loop approval thing.
So I don't think, whereas if we're cutting if someone's going to put something that I said out there from the church's account, it's going to be me. Because the only other person with the Facebook passwords doesn't know how to edit
What's
video.
the password?
Covenant 1, capital C, number 1. Covenant 1.
Oh yeah, good.
But that's the password for literally everything at our church. You want to hack into our air conditioning system?
Okay.
You want to play with the lights in the middle of the service?
Dude,
sweet.
This is gonna go live. All right.
I actually had a moment like that in the sermon this last week where because I was talking about the role of deacons and teaching from 1 Timothy 3, and I was talking about how there's a difference of opinion on women serving as deacons, and I said something to the effect of, in our denomination we do have women as deacons, and I basically was trying to say so ladies, there's a lot more opportunities to serve than maybe you realize, and I tried to say that in a nice way, but it kind of came across so women, you all better sign up to serve the church, and men, you're elders, and I immediately was I didn't mean for that to come out that way, but I could see how that could get clipped, and go in a particular direction to make me look like a terrible misogynist or something, and it was a slip of the tongue. So definitely that kind of stuff can happen, and I think you're right, because this came up. There was a person I'm friends with on Facebook who posted an image of a quote from a pastor, and it had credited him as the quote. But then in the comments, people were like, actually, that's a C.S. Lewis quote, and it's actually bad theology also. And then this argument broke out over plagiarism.
C.S. Lewis.
Well, an argument broke out over plagiarism in the comments. This pastor is plagiarizing C.S. Lewis. And me in some private conversations was listen, based on the size of this guy's church, he's definitely not the one that posted that.
Insta. Yeah.
Somebody else made that Instagram image of a picture of him preaching with a quote that they heard him say in the sermon. Maybe he said, one commentator said, and then he quoted it, and they didn't know who it was. So I think you got to give grace to that too. And I think in this situation, It was a kind of a swing and a miss theologically, but maybe he didn't even know it got posted until after the fact.
But Andrew has like a philosophy where it's like after the thing's been preached, as if it's been a decade, you're free to.
Yeah, there's no copy.
It's fair use at that point.
Fair
Yep.
use.
This entire Sunday morning services is just Andy Stanley.
That's not. I'm just not every week.
It was from 2004. It's
There was
fine.
a series that I had in my Dropbox
XP3
from 2 churches ago. Oh. It was cool.
Yeah, 2 churches ago paid for that sermon.
If you're once removed from a church, you could.
Yes,
It's totally fair
in
game.
my mind, this is divine inspiration at this point. What are you talking about?
Yes.
Hey, I want to change the subject real quick because to something that's kind of similar. I think all of us have been preaching and teaching for long enough where there's probably been sermons where you preach where you're actually glad it was never recorded.
Yep.
Can you think of a thing that you said that you're like, praise the Lord, it's not like on the internet? Because I can think of one right now for me. My very first sermon, oh my gosh, my very first sermon at the church after I graduated Bible college, let me preach. And I forgot I don't know what the text was. But I remember I was trying to make a joke. It wasn't a joke. It was trying to be being sincere. Our church was called Christ Community Church. The church doesn't exist anymore because I left. No, I'm just kidding. The church doesn't exist anymore for other reasons. But it was called Christ Community Church, and I was the only. I was like one of the few people in that church who actually lived in the community it sits in. Mm-hmm. And so I made a comment, and I was like. How can we call ourselves Christ Community Church if we don't care for the community our church is in?
Sure.
Good line.
Yeah.
I took it a step further and say like how I started coming to this church, and I was like, the youth pastor took a chance. He found this, street Cuban kid coming to the church, and he allowed me to welcome me. And look how I turned out. I'm a pastor now. I didn't impregnate any of your kids. I said that thinking like that was their biggest fear of the minority kid impregnating their daughters.
Okay.
And,
That's good.
And I mean, the point landed is what I'm ultimately saying here. But I'm glad that wasn't recorded. I just said it now, so now it's recorded. But it's true.
It's out there now.
I didn't impregnate any kids.
Did your senior pastor put his arm around you after the sermon and say, Frank?
My whole point was I didn't
We get
do
the
anything
point.
wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways.
No, I'm really thankful we didn't record youth sermons because there's been a lot of those where I have gone back after the fact, looked at my notes, and thought, I actually said that. There was one early on, I thought it would be a great idea to steal a Doug Fields sex talk because Doug Fields could deliver some killer sex talks. And I did it word for word, including his jokes, because I thought he was really funny. And at one point I said, see guys, the clitoris isn't just for getting a better radio signal.
Doug said that though?
Like, it was in Doug's notes. And I realized I had said it.
Dog, youth ministry in the 90s was ridiculous though. Like you couldn't fire a youth pastor in the 90s.
You probably said that after playing some crazy game where you made a kid throw up or something.
We
too,
definitely played it after like the Happy Meal blender game or something.
Put,
Yes.
like
This is
explicit
like gonna
warning
be
on the podcast.
explicit rating.
You can bleep that word out if you want. It's fine.
They are never going to invite
This
us
is gonna
back to
turn in-
record here
No,
again.
this is like we need more of these
This
guys.
is going to turn into the ex-pastor
Liven it up this
podcast.
group. Yeah, for real.
Similar in a youth ministry setting. It was like post Christmas, and I was talking about contentment or something, and I said, Christmas morning I opened up my Instagram and all of you had posted pictures of your junk, meaning like what you got for Christmas, and I said that, and I
All
lost,
of the junk pics.
I lost the room, and then I realized what I had said, and I was like, I am so grateful that this is not being recorded right now.
But this is.
But this is
Great.
But that was legitimately like 8 years ago. It's fine.
I get it.
I can't think of anything specific, but I definitely was
Jeff
like
is perfect.
I was definitely like
My eyes
harsh.
hurt from laughing that.
Oh yeah?
I was like super influenced by
Driscoll.
Driscoll
What's
What's
Chandler.
wrong with you? Get out of your basement.
Yeah, and like I didn't have the relational capital with any of those kids. So like once in a while a girl would cry or something because I was just like,
And you're like, good, that's the Holy Spirit punching you right now.
fiction.
If you go to homecoming instead of the youth group all-nighter, you don't love Jesus.
Wait a second. That was one time, all right? I felt bad. I apologize to all the parents for that. Why do you got to keep bringing that up?
I mean,
One of my favorite
I think
stories.
about that guy that's like the famous clip where he misspoke and he said, instead of saying pitching your tent.
Yeah, so we all know. We all know what he
know.
said.
I watch that once a week just as a solemn reminder
I
that it
watched
can
that
happen.
hype video before I preach. Like, ow now, brown cow. Enunciate.
Pinching tits, pinching tits, pinching.
Why?
Okay.
Tense.
Tense, that's what I said.
Tense.
Well, hey,
Tense.
this-
You gotta
Pinching,
have that
pinching,
southern accent, though.
tense.
It's tense.
That's what I said. It was an accent.
I was concerned that us being together in the same room was going to take this podcast off the
It's
rails.
gone
And
south.
it's done.
I'm really
So
sorry.
we're going to take a quick break so we can pay the bills. And when we come back,
We have bills?
someone has to pay for hosting.
You get paid?
I thought you were doing it.
I was.
Oh.
I'm in debt, guys. Help me out. No. When we come back, we're going to have some special guests. Be right back. Hey, we are back, and we are here with our, the very hospitable hosts of this lovely place. I don't want to ruin kayfabe. Can you guys introduce yourselves to the camera and everyone who's listening to the podcast?
My name is Andy, and I work for Sunday Cool.
My name is not Andy, it's Josh, also known as Carl, and I also work for Sunday Cool.
Man, it is so cool. Right now, every child in my kids' ministry is giving me so much clout by me just being in your presence.
Frank has so much Kidsman cred right now.
Yeah, because my kids' ministry does a curriculum that has them in there, and it's great. Hey, I want while we're here, we're in the Sunday Cool headquarters. It's a beautiful place in the middle of nowhere. It's pretty incredible.
Swamps, the swamps.
Yeah.
But I did Google. It's like 30 minutes from Disney World, and I totally get it now. Like,
Yeah.
avoid Orlando, live here, and you can still enjoy the benefits of that.
The constant threat of gators are worth it.
The constant. There's a lot of lakes around here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me just say this: is like I walked in here, we pulled up, so many cars. There's so many people who work here, and like I don't think people understand that like. From the point of view of like what they see online of what Sunday Cool is and the silly videos, and obviously the creation of like all these cool like custom shirts, there's a really big awesome team here, and I think it's like it's just really cool to see all the people who are here. Everyone seems really cool.
No, Frank, the thing is, people were actually working, and then they saw us walking in, and the look was, oh, cool, another group here to see those two guys.
know.
Like, that was the look everyone gave us while they're trying to work.
Yeah, they're in the back. Go ahead.
Think about like, oh yeah, I got this new job as a designer or at this company, and you work here, and it's like every week, just like youth pastors and homeschool groups are just showing up. Can we meet Carl? Can like that has to be.
Like, people legitimately come here just to tour the facility, right?
Yeah,
like, that's a
absolutely.
thing?
Yeah. And people are working out there, taking care of business, trying to run a business,
Yeah.
and while in the background they're hearing Carl throw up milk
Yeah.
because of a spicy video. Like it's a hostile work environment.
I'm not looking forward to that. Hey, so we're here. I just want to ask you guys a couple questions. I guess I should have started this first. Can you explain? I'd be surprised if someone doesn't know what Sunday Cool is. Can you explain what Sunday Cool does? What kind of thing they provide, so that way people can get their shirts with you guys?
Yeah, so we provide medical equipment.
Yeah, and procedures. Yeah,
can't-
and procedures.
That can't be right.
Impromptu. Yeah.
Spine,
yeah.
mostly
gloves.
spine stuff.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we are a t-shirt company in Central Florida, Christian-based t-shirt company, and we do t-shirts for youth groups, camps, everything, and we do hats,
Coasters.
stickers,
Really good coasters.
Really good coasters.
yeah, everything.
Yeah.
And we do it with our super soft t-shirts with a water-based ink, and that's about
We
it.
produce a lot of videos.
Oh, yeah, we do
weekly.
videos.
Yeah, we do videos as
Yeah.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
a small
we
part of what we do.
provide
Very small
content,
part.
yeah.
That's literally all.
So you might know them more for videos than for actual apparel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
There's 80 people that work for Sunday Cool, and
That's crazy.
we're the two that do videos.
4 years ago, it was like 5.
Yeah.
So we've blown up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, actually, Tim, what you said is interesting. Like, a lot of people, a lot of churches might not even, like, students and student ministries
Right.
might not even know their shirt is, like, Sunday Cool. They just get the cool youth group shirt, the D Now shirt, the Mrs. Tripp shirt, and they're just like, this is really comfortable. Like, this is a Sunday Cool shirt, and, like, it is the most comfortable shirt.
I mean, we're wearing Sunday Cool vests right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, shirtless. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Do you guys sell vests? You guys
No, these are strictly just for
personal reasons.
entertainment, personal reasons. Next question.
Next question.
But like they're really known for their videos and how funny, like super funny videos, whether it's the Cool Carll character or you guys eating spicy stuff. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's pretty crazy, incredible. I guess when it comes to the video content stuff, whether it's a youth pastor watching this to think of like, I want to make funny videos like this in my student ministry, or it's even like churches at large trying to make content for their church. What's the process in making your video? Because I think one thing I've noticed, there was a time in my youth ministry life where I just wanted funny content for my students that I didn't have to bleep out or edit, right? And it's like nearly impossible.
Right.
And otherwise, you're showing the same 8 videos every single week, right?
Yeah.
Like, what goes in your process when you make these videos, all that kind of stuff? So maybe you can help some people see it, how hard you guys are working on all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
so our main idea for the videos we make is to provide or just show people that you can have really fun, funny content while being a Christian,
Yeah.
you know? And so that's what we do. And we're trying to like make it to where ultimately we can share the love of Christ with people, but mainly for marketing purposes for Sunday Cool and providing content for churches to where they can show their kids, and it's like Christians make it. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, the biggest thing is that we just try to do stuff that makes us laugh, and so that's one of the biggest things is we try to just focus on what makes us laugh, and understanding that we try to stay topical as well. If there's something trending, we jump on that train like we've done with the whole Karen bit and everything like that. But a lot of it is just whatever cracks us up. And also, going back to C.S. Lewis, I know we called him a heretic earlier, but that's neither here nor there. But what he says about like the Christian shoemaker, it's like we don't need just a shoemaker that puts crosses on shoes. We need somebody who's willing just to make the best shoes possible.
Wow.
And so we just try to do maybe not all the time Christian throw it down your throat content, but more of just, hey, this is really fun content. We don't take ourselves too seriously, but we just happen to be Christians and produce the softest t-shirts on the planet. So that's what we do.
Now, have you guys shot something, edited something, and got ready to put it out and realized this might not land well? Let's preview this with somebody first. You previewed it with them and they said, yeah, you cannot air this.
We've done that a couple times. We have a folder.
Yeah, it's called
the Untouchable folder.
Okay. Can we get a link to that Dropbox folder?
Absolutely, yeah.
Can
right
you give
after
us
this,
like a kind of like a 1,000-foot view of the air of like what was the content that you were like, this is probably a bad idea to put out?
Well, we did. So the videos I did, the last minute sermons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did one when Hurricane Irma was coming.
No, Dorian.
Or Dorian.
Yeah.
And we did a last minute sermon about hurricanes, and then
And
it hit
to be
the
fair,
Caribbean.
yeah.
And then people actually died in a hurricane,
Yeah.
and you're like, this might not be as funny as we thought it was.
Literally,
Or it could be really funny.
Everyone's mourning about,
Yeah.
and we're like, no way are we doing this. So yeah, that's.
I'm on the other side. I'm like, well.
I was
and then Josh was like,
someone
no,
was
no, no,
thinking
no, no.
we could still do this, and then there was a little bit of wisdom and
That was-
discernment in there.
That was me, and then Josh was like, "Yeah, we probably shouldn't." And so that's one I don't think we'll ever release. But we have produced some that we've held on to for a while, and then it got to the right environment. We're like, okay, we can release this with a few tweaks, and it's done pretty well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We
it's been
always
fun.
we always sometimes get a little into the skit too much to where it gets somewhat sacrilegious, and then so when we rewatch it, it's like, no way, like we never want to even
Yeah, that's the main focus.
Like
We're kingdom minded.
Why are we
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
sacrificing goats?
But like even your response video to the coaster, like even that took heat, which I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But
I appreciate that.
I know that you guys took some heat for that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
And you're actually using it as a coaster right now. You've had some videos that have actually like legitimately gone viral, like front page of Reddit type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how was that? Like,
Wait, outside of like Andy in a pink diaper, right?
Yeah, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
that-
That's like 200 million and counting.
Yeah, what in the
so
world?
that video was
Of all your videos.
And that wasn't like a Sunday Cool piece. That
No.
was just a
Yeah.
Which is really dumb of us that we didn't promote Sunday Cool
Seriously.
at all.
yeah.
We were on ESPN and
you're in
everything.
Sports Center. I mean, that's pretty incredible. Would you say that kind of viral stuff like was like an afterthought? Like it just kind of like, we're here to make funny videos for the church, for people, and then like it also helps promote Sunday Cool. But like, are you aiming for virality, or is this like
kind of? It's so like the one that went super viral, the How to Speak Gen Z,
yeah?
Yep.
which is like a couple million views. I was like looking because all the youth pastors on like DYM stuff you can use were talking about how their kids were using all this weird language. I'm like, it would be really funny to make a translation video. And so what I did was I looked up to see if there's any video out there, and there wasn't. So I'm like, okay, this has potential to be really, really popular. And so there is kind of some thought in like what would go viral and what wouldn't, but
think the main purpose is like just to get a foot in the door for youth pastors, for like hopefully this is content they can use for their youth group, like you said, just to make them laugh. It doesn't have to be thought-provoking or anything like that, but hopefully it's something where it's like, okay, they let their guard down, maybe it's a new kid or something like that they can show, they can have fun, and then, but the more viral it's going to be, obviously that means more teens are watching. So that's not our main goal, obviously, but to have something that breaks the wall down of a teenager and makes them laugh, that's obviously that's a huge win for us.
Do you guys delve into like curriculum videos? Because Frank was talking about the kids ministry scene, you guys, and I guess I haven't seen any of that before.
Yeah, we've never actually had a foot in children's ministry at all, and that was one of the things I was like, man, we should really try to do that. And we had a door open to us with stuff you can use in Grow curriculum. They reached out and said, hey, would you be interested in doing the children's ministry videos? And so I think we were both kind of scared because we're just like, I don't know how we're going to do that. The writing's completely different, but it's really let us just be 100% goofier and have a lot more fun. And so we've been doing that for a little over a year now, and it's been a blast. Yeah,
I thought for sure, like when I heard that you guys were in those videos, I was like, this isn't gonna land. Like this is already kind of like almost borderline limits of what high school kids could find funny, because it's so kind of like almost dry, almost like
very awkward.
Absurdist humor and stuff. And I'm like, and then when I saw that the kids was like, are they gonna be like, are they just be like, people are moving and it's funny? Like how is this gonna work? And so I sat in one of like the elementary classes to see them watching the video. They're rolling, dude.
That's great.
Like they love it. They eat it up. I think that's awesome.
That's awesome.
One last question for you guys is I think, needless to say, if you have a viral video, period, there's going to be like negative comments.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, the issue with the book had caused some tension with some folks.
Really?
I remember going on Twitter and seeing people who are supposed to be respected individuals commenting on this book. I'm like, you have nothing else to do with your day, and there wasn't even just like theologians or pastors. Like these are like some of these like a political news pundits, right?
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, and it felt like two distant worlds combining. That I was like, this is weird. So I think inevitably, we talked about this earlier, it's like all of our content now, a lot of our churches' sermons and things are going online for streaming, and now they're going to be on the internet for perpetuity unless we take it down. I guess my question to you guys is, how do you handle negative comments, negative people who just like want to see like attack you? Because like you guys are making videos for like every denomination, right? So like the Southern Baptists and the Methodists all got to be cool with it to some degree, right? Yeah. It's like, how do you do that to have a broad audience and also realize there's going to be some negative content there? How do you process all that?
Yeah, like if someone was like, your book's a coaster, like how would you even respond to like that kind of negative feedback?
By the way,
First you cry for a long time, and then you reach out to the people and say, hey, can we talk? And so that's what we did.
You legitimately did do that, by the way.
Yeah, it freaks me out. Like I hate like with the book when people are calling me blasphemous and stuff. That really, really upsets me, because that was never our intention.
Right.
But those are the same people that also didn't read the book.
Yep.
And our whole purpose with the book was for like to get the Word of God into kids' hands. But I mean, we're not afraid of negative comments, especially because a lot of our humor is calling stuff out in the church where it's just like, okay, like you guys shouldn't, like you should like really reflect on like what you're doing and stuff within your church. But yeah,
I think we have a really unique opportunity just to be able to, like you said, have that be under that umbrella of we can produce a video and it could be played in Pentecostal, Southern Baptist, and all types of churches, and not even in churches. We've had people play our videos in schools for like lessons and stuff, and so to have that is so cool. And I think obviously we don't touch on huge controversial topics except for ones that we truly believe that are hurting the souls of teens, and so we'll hit on that. But I think we try to ride the fence a tad bit, but also just understand that the most important thing that we need to spread is the love of Christ, and just the fun of that is living a Christian life. And so to be able to have that is super cool. And I know it's super unique because not a lot of companies or churches can produce videos for all denominations. So I think we don't take that lightly at all, but we have a lot of fun with it because it gives us a lot of freedom to do whatever we want. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, before we let you go, is there anything you guys want to promote, share, tell them about what's going on? I know you guys have some like programs going on right now.
Have you guys ever heard of the Script Daddy? It is crazy cool.
Go on.
Yeah, it's Shark Tank.
Okay.
That little smiley face, little scrubby.
You heat it up,
If
it
you-
gets
yeah.
soft. You
Yep.
put cold water, it gets like
It's
stiff,
insane.
and it cleans
Any
everything.
stain out. We're not
I'm in.
sponsored by them, but
Yet.
I think it's if we're gonna plug anything, I think that's worthy of it, right?
Yeah.
There, right?
I
cool.
have
Love it.
two things.
Tell it.
We did just come out with a virtual tour on our
yeah, work
website.
stuff.
It's called Experience Sunday Cool. It's really cool. It's like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. Really fun. Took a lot of
9,000
work.
different options.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
Paths. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
pretty
can
dope.
do like 9,000
Okay.
different paths or whatever. Second thing is Andy's dad. If you're watching this, he's never met you.
Oh boy.
So maybe
I mean, this is it.
email him at andy@sundaycool.com. He's in Vegas, right? Blackjack dealer?
Yeah.
Wow.
He misses you. You've never met him though.
No, yeah.
But if you're out there, he's here.
I do have a stepdad that's great though. So
That's it.
Alright, guys. Well, hey, if you're ever in wherever we are, south of Orlando, where are we? Tavares?
Yeah.
If you're ever in Tavares, come by. It's open for homeschool field trips and
exclusively.
You say
exclusively.
like you're French.
Tavares.
Tavares?
Come down to the Paris.
Hey guys, dude, this is the greatest day of my life right now.
Disney World, see alligators.
Hey, buy shirts from Sunday Cool. They're great, good friends, and watch their videos. Share it with your youth group. Share it with your church.
Everybody.
It's good stuff.
Your mom.
Your lost father.
Mothers like the videos, I guess. So that's great. Hey, thank you so much. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll answer the question of the day.
Grab your coaster.
Hey, we are back with the question of the day, and since we're all in Florida, this is Jeff and I's hometown. This is all of our hometown. Yeah.
I live here.
Yeah, we moved away. We came back.
I moved away, but I came back.
And you came back. You're like the prodigal son.
That's right.
That's right. You went to the Dallas Theological Seminary.
I've lived off the land and all the partying that the VeggieTales version of Prodigal Son does. I did that.
So I want to close this.
candy.
There's a lot of people who watch this who aren't from Florida.
Carnivals.
And in their mind, the only reason why they would come to Florida is like Disney World, Universal.
The beach.
Yeah, going to Miami to get arrested by the cops.
Bienvenido a Miami.
Cruise ships, I guess. So, so the question I think should be asked is what's a popular reason why someone should come to Florida? Because I can actually think of like a dozen reasons.
Or less well known.
Yeah, I can name a dozen reasons why you shouldn't come here. Palmetto bugs, hurricanes, love bugs. There's a lot of bugs. There's actual dinosaurs in the water. Lots of reasons why you shouldn't. But what are some good reasons why someone should come to Florida that aren't as well known?
Well, you should be in Florida because it's here where you can get a Publix chicken tender sub.
That was what Jeff was going to say.
Thanks, bro.
That's my
You
absolute
literally
favorite.
stole-
Appreciate that.
That's my
We-
absolute
like, when we
favorite.
paused, it was
to be
all
fair,
like, what
you
are,
can get those in other parts of the South as well, but they taste
Mostly
better
just
here.
Florida.
They taste
Yeah,
better
there's something
here.
happens when you cross that Florida-Georgia border
Yeah.
where it's like, well, Publix is way better here. Publix is a grocery store chain. That's
It's a pleasure
in the
to shop
Southeast.
there.
It is a pleasure to shop there, and
where
it is
shopping
way
is a
better.
pleasure.
Yes.
It feels like a different kind of grocery store compared to like.
It's like when you go to
Everywhere
Chick-fil-A after being at McDonald's for 3 or 4 meals in a row, and you're like, oh,
Why did I?
this
You
is
go to
just
McDonald's 3 or 4 meals in a row? That's
sometimes.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Super
Sometimes.
simple, bro.
Yeah.
But then you go to Chick-fil-A and you're like, oh, this is better. That's what Publix is.
I gotta also say, in terms of branding, Publix is at the top of the heap when it comes to grocery stores.
Yeah.
We can have
those things.
simple.
two shout outs to Publix is worthy.
A
Those-
good color combo.
Yep.
Those Thanksgiving commercials with
Yep.
the salt and pepper shaker pilgrims makes you cry every year.
Yes.
So good.
What's another reason?
Well, I was gonna say that, but
Okay.
Are you a fan of Major League Baseball?
Yes,
Do you hate going to crowded stadiums?
I do.
I've got good news for you.
Go on.
As a Floridian and a fan of Major League Baseball, I know that on any given day, unless of course the Red Sox or the Yankees are in town, I can walk up to the gate and buy tickets and sit in a 60% empty air-conditioned baseball stadium.
Who plays there?
Oh, well, the Tampa Bay Rays or the Miami Marlins. Used to be the Florida Marlins. Either way, if you like baseball and you don't like crowds, come to Florida.
The Tampa Bay Rays though is like an exceptionally good baseball
Like
team.
They're a blast to watch. Even when they lose, it's still fun to watch
I
their games.
literally watch at least 150 Rays games
It's
a
just-
year.
it's
It
just-
is one of my
And my
deepest
feed is about 10
passions-
seconds faster than Andrew's, so I know how to ruin his night. I will quickly text him as
It
fast as I
is
can when I know something he does not know.
awful.
And like the stadium,
no one goes.
It's a nice stadium, terrible location.
It's in a terrible location. Like once you're inside, like the inner bowl, that sounds like a toilet. Once you're like in your seat, you're like, this is nice. The sight lines are good, like the in-house entertainment stuff. But the concourses are awful, and getting there is a disaster.
I got to tell you though, once you move away from Tampa Bay
and you go to
and
a
you
real nice
go to
stadium.
a place like Camden Yards in Baltimore,
Okay.
it's tough. I mean, the air
get it.
conditioning part is still awesome.
The air
Yes.
conditioning
I
is
do
awesome.
miss that, but Camden Yards is.
A winning baseball
times
team is
better.
fun too.
I agree.
American League
A winning
champs.
baseball team for
And
1/3 the
stinks-
payroll.
It stinks that we're in the same division.
It does.
So I can't be like, I'm going to cheer for the team where I live now and the team where I came from. It's kind of hard.
Can't do
Hockey
it.
is the same way.
I mean, Milwaukee's the Brewers with the Miller. I think it's called the Miller Lite Stadium. It's a Miller or something. It has to do with Miller beer.
I'm a Christian. I wouldn't know.
It's Miller
How
time.
dare you?
You should come to Milwaukee. It's
I can't
just
believe you wear the hat.
You get beer for free just like living there.
And
But,
cheese.
It's like when you
And
move to
beer
Alaska
cheese.
and the government pays you to live there. If you live in Wisconsin, like, we're so sorry.
No, but
here's
You're
a
Some
sixer.
beer.
But I do think I think people don't realize how great Florida sports are. Like obviously Tom Brady lives here now, but historically the Gators, Florida State,
The Jaguars. I mean, come on.
Miami.
The highest
We're good
number
ones.
of NFL draft picks come from high schools in the state of
high
Florida.
school football in Florida.
I
get-
Trevor Lawrence will be here soon.
I lived in Texas for 4.5 years. I've done Texas high school football. 10,000 people in a stadium, unbelievable. But Florida kids get drafted to the NFL at a way higher rate. Sorry, Texas.
It's true.
You have anything else besides Publix?
Nah, that was about it. I mean,
Yeah.
everything else you can get kind of everywhere else.
Well, not
Also,
alligators during church,
If you want to
which you can get at Lakeview Church
you should
Sundays
come
at
to
9:30 and
Florida
11.
to see Jeff's mother-in-law.
What's that?
Your mother-in-law.
She's very hospitable.
It's a good reason to
She'd
come to
have you over
Florida.
for dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, your father-in-law is a dean of students at a
Yeah, the
alma
VP
mater.
of Academic Affairs.
Yeah, if you want to visit where Billy Graham graduated from, and
That's a good reason to come to Florida.
where the rapper KB came
You
from.
can go to a Bible college and then you'll know what modalism is.
Hey.
And you
Wow.
won't say that kind of stuff.
Or where Clearwater Christian came to die.
Yeah,
That's
Clearwater
so
Christian.
sad.
Yeah. Anyways,
Where's that?
we went to Trinity. They went to Clearwater Christian. and
I did not.
Tim
I'm-
didn't.
And we
USF still
Tim's a-
exists, and
Tim's a pagan
it's
and went
much
to
bigger than all of your schools
public
combined.
state. University.
What do you guys? You guys care about UCF? I don't know what you guys care about over.
They don't.
No. Who cares about
Unless
UCF?
you live on, like,
the
uni-
largest university.
If
in
you
the
live
country,
in
right?
like University Avenue in Orlando, you care, but
That's it.
That's it.
because of traffic.
It's because that's where it is.
My last thing I would say is also another food thing is you can get this from Publix, but you literally cannot find once you pass Gainesville, it doesn't exist well. Is Cuban sandwiches.
Okay.
Cuban
Yep.
sandwiches are
Mustard.
so good.
Pickle.
And Cuban bread is like good.
Pork.
You can't find it anywhere else. Literally, the
Swiss
moment
cheese.
you pass Ocala, everyone just has this like
Pressed.
gentrified pulled pork sandwich. It's disgusting.
Come
like-
to Tampa.
Pulled pork without seasoning on it. Like, it's like pulled pork with no
And the
barbecue
bread's not
sauce.
right.
Tampa
Ybor.
Tampa has the best Cuban sandwiches. Miami has pretty good ones. But I bet you could probably find a good Cuban sandwich around here. I mean, if you go to a Publix in Central to South Florida, you probably find a decent
Yeah.
Cuban.
Probably.
Hey, that's what we have for today. I am so glad you joined us, Delmar. We miss you.
Miss you, buddy.
Drink some sweet tea on us. With that being said, I'm Frank Gill.
I'm Jeff Simpson.
I'm Andrew Larson.
And I'm Timothy Miller.
This is Practically Pastoring. See you next time. Bye.